And good day all, this is T-Hillum29 back again for another DC comic review, and this time it's Dark Crisis, World Without a Justice League, without Wonder Woman and Martian Manhunter. So first things first, does this cover in any way, shape or form connect to something that's happening inside? Well, one of the stories, yes it is, to which I give it a 7 out of 10. So seeing that there are two stories in here, I'll quickly go through both of them, to which we'll get the CD art and also the story. And on top of that, I will also give my rating once the first one is finished in relation to art and story, and also do the same with the second story. So as things begin in this Pariah created universe, we see Wonder Woman, well, being infatuated with Etta Candy. My goodness. And of course we cannot forget this. So as the story continues, she ends up taking Etta Candy to Themyscira with the Amazons, and made a honored Amazon, cause I don't know what she did to deserve to get there. Pretty tinny, I must admit. As things progress, we get to see her with a kangaroo, and eventually meeting up with some more members of the Amazon until they find a bit of a big boom boom. But what's planned for this? A fight ensues, and one thing this tin of beer forgot was the name of this supposed villain that's actually in the story. Oh, here we go, Dr. Psycho. Finally. And it's nice to see that Pariah is sort of like being used, Dr. Psycho is being used as a mouthpiece for Pariah in this story. The story continues, then eventually it goes on. It still continues. And now it's Wakandans, or should I say, Themyscirans in space. So, a bit of a stolen idea from Ta-Nehisi Coates. And we finish off. Well, for the art, I must admit, I did enjoy the art for this story. But for the overall story, I gave it a 5 out of 10. The key things that we sort of had in this story was the triad of the Amazons, which basically consisted of the 3 areas consisting of what make up the Amazons. We had Wonder Woman, Dr. Psycho, Cheetah, a couple of other Amazons who I did and didn't recognize, and this is why it gets a 5 out of 10 from me. Now it's time to move into actually a story that came off way better than the Wonder Woman story, and that is the one around Martian Manhunter. And as we begin here, it's in a noir setting, and in this we get lots of squids, lots of Cthulhus. The story continues as it looks like this somewhat detective of this squid species might actually be hunting Martian Manhunter. Story continues, they follow the clues until they find Martian Manhunter and of course shoot him and kill him. In this story, I definitely found the mouthpiece of this for Pariah was to be the one that was actually hunting Martian Manhunter. For this story's art, I gave it an 8 out of 10. For the actual story itself, well, I'm calling this place Squid Planet. It's the only thing I can think of. Even though it does sort of like cover like a Gotham-like city. We had Martian Manhunter, and I think it was Brighton. And overall, the story gets an 8 out of 10 from me, so stay tuned for when the next one comes up, which we will be having both Black Canary and Green Arrow together. Now, until then, let's keep it colourful and have yourself an awesome day.